Good morning, guys. Welcome to 85 degrees. Crazy humidity out today. If we can read that, 52%. If you can read that, there you go, 52%. So yeah, crazy run today. Actually, awesome run. Got a lot of great news to tell you about it. Did something a little different, and it definitely paid off. I think. Save. Oh, there you go. All right, how's today looking? 19 hours. All right, under the window. Good. I like that. Okay. Any achievements? Okay, back up to 53. Good, I earned that one back. It felt like it, honestly. And the weird thing is, see, there you go, 3.36 miles. So you can see I did something a little different. I'll tell you about it a little bit later. Yeah, honestly, I can almost tell by how easy or hard my run is, whether or not my VO2 max has changed any. But you kind of see what my heart rate morning looked like. And thus far, my strides for the day. Alright, time for my shower, and I'll meet you guys a little bit. Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Tuesday of week 8 of this 16-week marathon training program. I will admit it's kind of almost getting a little nerve-wracking to know I'm about halfway there. And I think today the numbers started to speak for themselves as far as not so much, well, not only progress, but a sense of certainty that things are coming together. Because I know when I first started running marathons, yeah, okay, you go through the 16-week program, you build up the miles, and to be honest with you, I was just happy to survive the distance. That's all I cared about. But actually that was my first one. My first one was all about surviving the distance, and then after getting a blood blister on the bottom of like the arch of my right foot, I took a blood blister at about mile 13. I felt it happen because it felt like I stepped on like a firm, wet, like cherry tomato or a grape, and then it got soft. It didn't break in my sock, thankfully, but I felt, myself running on something that felt like a warm, like I said, a grape or a cherry tomato. It was really weird. And at the time, I lived in a second floor apartment, so nothing like climbing the stairs after running a marathon. Silly me, I have a 2-story house, nothing like climbing the stairs after I run a marathon. But after my first one, and after the misery of your body just aching everywhere, once that all goes away, then the competitive spirit in me kicked in. And what I mean by that is that when I first started running marathons, I got invited to it by this girl I was dating at the time. And she comes over to my apartment one day with this 3-fold flyer, says, "Hey, look what I'm getting you for Christmas." And this was like in October. And I'm like, "What?" And she starts opening it up. She says, I'm gonna pay for your entry into the P.F. Chang's marathon. And she says, "Because I know you like a challenge." I said, "Marathon?" And she says, "Yeah, but they have a half marathon too, but I know you like a challenge, so I want to sign you up for full." So I said, "How far is the half?" Because I knew really nothing about this. I learned about like the marathon thing in history, like in elementary school or early high school, I forgot. But that was like it. I don't remember anything about marathons. And so she says, "Oh, the half marathon's 13.1 miles." I went, "Oh my gosh." So foolish me, I said, "How far is the full?" Hoping the math wasn't as simple as that. She says it's 26.2 miles. I'm thinking, oh my God, people actually run that far? But yeah, sure enough. So after 10 weeks of training, I ran my first marathon, and it was like, off the top of my head, I can't remember the exact time, but I know it was in the it was, I think, 4 hours, and in all reality I think it was 4 hours and 52 minutes. I call it the worst 5-hour morning of my life. But after that, after recovering from all that, I discovered runnersworld.com, and if you have never been there, check it out. It's the website version of the magazine, and there's truly a library of information you get about running. And so from that, I discovered the proper marathon training program should have been 16 weeks. So then I said, I wonder, if I actually spent 16 weeks doing this instead of 10, could I run it faster? So the following fall, I started training for my second one. After swearing I wouldn't do more after the first one, I started training for my second one. And I ended up shaving, what was it? I ended up shaving like 52 minutes? I think it was 52 minutes off my marathon time. I went from, and I apologize, I haven't pulled up these numbers in my head in ages. I went from a 4 hour and, what was it, a 4 hour and 52 minute marathon to like a 3 hour and 57 minute marathon. Actually like 52 or 55 minutes off my time. I was flattered. I was, wow. And then I got bit by the bug because I said, if I could do that, what if I could do next year? Well, obviously there was a period of time where I plateaued, but then I got my act together and I started shaving more time off. And now the reason I share all this with you is because all that time I'm always following some sort of online marathon training program. Because I figured if you could write the program, you probably know what you're talking about and all that. Now, 10 marathons later, as I'm preparing for my 10th one, I don't look up those programs anymore. I have a general idea as to mileage buildup, things like that, and I know from personal experience how my body feels, how my body responds to things. And from personal experience, I understand that when you first start out, it doesn't always seem promising. You have to just put in the time, commit to your program, whatever that's going to be, and just really dedicate yourself to getting the best possible result that you can achieve for that given race. And so, with that said, today was one of those kind of turning points. It was one of those kind of turning points that actually gave me hope, helped me feel confident. Not that I hadn't been, but if you guys have been following along, this program, this cycle out, I've definitely had some serious bumps in the road. It's been very challenging, and so today I switched it up a little bit again, which you will see, and for the first time, I felt race confident based on what happened today. And so before I share that with you, let's go ahead and do our daily shot of wheatgrass. It's in the bowl today because you can see there was a lot of head on it and it kind of went over the side of the shot glass. And so now that we're almost 8 weeks into this, if you're new to if you're new to my channel, every day I do a shot of wheatgrass. A shot of wheatgrass has the nutritional equivalent of 1 pound of raw green vegetables. So 1 pound of raw green vegetables in this little bitty shot glass. And so for those who are new, for those who are wondering, wheatgrass tastes like grass. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Sometimes it's a little sweet, sometimes softly green and tart. But I've been playing around with that, and I also have a compost, and so I try to be as go green as possible, no pun intended. And so while my earlier wheatgrass, I was using basically recycled potting soil from having plants or whatever. I figured, hey, just use that. But I think what I was tasting, sometimes when it tasted bitter and salty, I think what I was tasting was maybe just the salts from the fertilizer, whereas compost doesn't have any salt, doesn't have any fertilizer. Compost, and so that's why I think the flavors kind of chilled out a little bit, which is good. But anyhow, a shot of wheatgrass every day keeps the doctors away and the girls too, and I'm living proof of that. Cheers. Yeah, that's definitely, I think that's definitely, because I finally switched over, not switched over, but I ran out of potting soil. So I've been using compost, And we're talking about grass cuttings and things like that, not human feces or anything like that. Just grass cuttings, basically compost. You can put your newspaper in it, your grass cuttings, pretty much a lot of stuff outside of fats and proteins, only because they take longer to break down. But needless to say, that definitely does not taste salty. I think that might have actually been made from that compost stuff, which is fine because now I'm actually tasting the wheatgrass for what it is instead of the artificial fertilizer that's been absorbed through the root system to make the plant grow. If that makes sense. All right. So enough of that. On with today's run. You can see, and I pulled this up, 3.36 miles compared to 4.25 miles. Real quick, you can see I did 4 splits this time. Yes, that's right. I've gotten back to my 4 splits. And what I've done was, because I realized in phase 3 it will be all about strength and endurance. So whatever speed I can accomplish during phase 2, phase 3 will be all about holding that for a greater distance, a longer period of time, because clearly I'm going to need that ability to do well. And so I figured, as you know, from like the last, was it 2 or 3 weekends or 2 or 3 Tuesdays, I get about 2 of these half-mile drills in me, and I'm kicking my own butt, and my body's done. Just don't have nothing left. Today I decided, I'm like, all right, let's roll into this. Let's roll into this. I figured let's make the first 2 hard, first 2 kind of easy, and then maybe play up the second 2. So this way I can get 4 in, because I need to be able to get more time under speed on my legs. And so real quick, you can see I went out, I got 4 done, whereas last week I did 2 done. Also, real quick, last week was 84. This week was 84. You saw this morning. Google said it was 85. I'll let that 1 degree temperature go, but it was also, was it 51% humidity. So yeah, it was a little clammy this morning, but not too bad. So when I joke about Kenyan summer run, if you go through, was it Wonder, spelled with a U, wonderweather.com or something like that, it's basically like a weather almanac. You can punch in any city, any zip code, and play around with the website, and it'll tell you exactly on an annual basis what the temperature is like on a given day or a given month. And so I went over to Kenya, and Kenya, depending on where in Kenya you live, 85 degrees and 50% humidity, that's Kenya. So right there, Kenya summer run. And so coming down here a little bit, you can, I did 4 drills. Here in the blue, you can see these are my splits. In the red are exactly how my heart rate kind of creeped up. I like the fact that it just kind of rolled into things. That's good. And first mile, or excuse me, first split, 0.6 of a mile, 8:51 pace. That's fine. Maybe maybe a little slower than I maybe started out before, but that's okay. And these next 4, I mentioned that I just wanted to roll into it. So knowing that I was going to do 4 splits today, I realized the whole goal, pretty much after this week, for the next 4 weeks, will be about making whatever speed I have last longer. And so what I decided to do was, I realized my ideal, my projected marathon, my projected marathon pace, even in order to run a sub 3, like a sub 3, I think it's like a 6:52 pace. Get you like 3 hours on the dot or something really close to that. However, if my goal is to run a 6:45 pace, that gets me a, a 3 hour and 56, about 3 hour 56, 3 hour 57 minute marathon, which means now I have at least a few minutes to spare. Might need that. So using 6:45 as my base number, I figured, okay, anything faster than 6:45 is going to make 6:45 feel easy. Okay? And so I went into this thinking, all right, let's see what we have. Let's see if we can do 6:30. I ran 6:33. Coming back, well, my body felt like doing a 6:22. Then I said, all right, let's see if we can't maybe bring it down to 6:15. And without really pushing myself, my body for the next two continued to bring this down. So 33, 22, 17, 13. Not bad. I'm not complaining. These here kind of consistent. So that looks good to me. I will say on this fourth one, the reason why my average moving pace and my average pace are different is because I just rolled into it a little bit slower. And I'll show you that in a second. Now, because these four felt comfortable to me, I mean real comfortable to me, as in we come over here and I was pretty tight on that 3-minute rest in between. Whereas we go the week before where I only did my 2, and you could here 3:20 was like my average rest pace or my rest time, because I was clearly kicking my butt and my body felt like it needed some extra rest. Okay, that's fine. So knowing that this felt pretty good to me, I said to myself, if I could do 4, maybe I could do 5. So I went ahead, and as you know, normally when I'm doing 2, I just kind of run home on my whatever, comfortable pace I've got. So I decided, all right, I know if there's 0.6 of a mile getting to my starting place, then there's 0.6 of a mile going home, and I'm pretty confident there's at least a half mile I can get in there that I can make another split out of. So this is where this one comes in. So technically, even though this comes in a little short because of the way I should have started on the other side of the street instead of this side of the street, but needless to say, although that was pretty tight, my average pace did come down a little bit. However, I said to myself, really, was I just not feeling it? Was I really tired? What was going on? And we look at the numbers here in a second, and really what happened was I just rolled into it. So we pull this up for a second, and so we look at the bottom, 34 minutes and 2 seconds. I'm at 6:48, and you figure, what was it, 34 minutes and 2 seconds, and so even at 6:28, it took me 29 seconds to break the 6:30 barrier. So for the first 29 seconds, if you follow along here, I'm not doing nothing crazy impressive. But once I get in there, then my pace picks up, and we can see by the numbers, I'm cruising along quite comfortably, and these average moving numbers are pretty consistent with how I was finishing up the last 4. So that explains that. And to give you some idea on consistency, let's go back to this one. Now here, 27 minutes 48 seconds, and wow, 2 seconds later I'm already sub 6. 2 seconds later, yeah, 27:48. Yeah, 2 seconds later I'm already sub 6 pace. And this is something I was only looking to do 6:15 at, and this is my 4th one. If you look at the times at the top, those are pretty impressive compared to kind of what I was doing last week. And it's now 29:31. Just then I'm breaking the 6-minute mark. 29:31 all the way to 30:48. So what's that? The last minute and 17 seconds I was above 6 minutes. Other than that, I was cruising along at the sub 6 pace. Cruising along. I wasn't pushing myself. I looked down at my watch. I said, okay, this is within reason for what I'm trying to achieve, and I'm fine with that. Whereas here, you pull up these two, look at these crazy slopes. crazy slope here. I start out at 5:30 and I'm just nose diving all the way home. Even this one, start out at 5:16, nose diving all the way home. Nothing, nothing very impressive about those two. Whereas we come back here and from the first one, 6:30, and I'm bringing it down to 6:28. Second one, 6:29, I roll up, 6:05, 6:0, and I settle down at 6:17. All right, settle into it. And again, I'm only trying to do, my thought was, let's see if I can't do 6:15, 6:20. I wasn't trying to get sub 6 today, because this far into the game, first of all, I don't need a sub 6 pace, though it'd be nice. Second of all, to try to sit there and spend 4 weeks trying to hold a sub 6 pace for 26 miles, based on who I think I am, based on my physical capacity, I don't think that's necessarily a realistic goal, because I really need to focus on getting comfortable holding the pace. So that's the goal. And hey, if I could sit there and get comfortable with 6:15, if I can get comfortable at 6:15, 6:45 is going to be a whole lot more doable. So going on, now we go to our third one, come up, 6:20. I broke 6 a little bit, fine, and I settle at 6:17, still within that 6:15 and 6:20 range. And our last one, breaking 6 again, and on my last one, actually I finished faster, per se. So if my goal was 6:15 to 6:20, and my final pace was 6:11, clearly my fourth one was pretty strong. Not going to complain. Now, what I find is very interesting about all this is, let's see real quick, you see, again, because we're only doing half-mile splits, I don't care about average heart rate. I really don't care, because I spent 3 minutes bringing my heart rate down to this number, trying to bring my heart rate down. All I care about is what my heart rate maxed out at. And well, for 3 out of the 5, I broke the 174 the 174 range heart rate or beats per minute. So clearly, being able to do that repetitively with a little break shows strength. And my average cadence, not too bad. But all in all, what really floored me was this. Training effect, 3.0. 3.0. And we know Saturday was a hellacious training. And real quick, 3.0, I'm improving. Nothing drastic, but I'm improving. Had it been 2.9, I would have been maintaining. Bad. And we go to last week, I only did 2 splits. 3.7, kick more butt. Huh. How did I manage that? My personal guess is probably the last couple miles I'm just sitting there running 7s. 7:15, 7:30s. Probably that's where that comes in. And even though the heart rate wasn't crazy high, it was held for a total of what? Almost 14 minutes and 45 seconds, or just about. So I think that's why that was a little higher. So all in all, I'm really happy about today. I feel good about it. If I could do 4 of these splits and only get a 3.0 training effect, I'm clearly improving. And that's the confidence I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today. I know this kind of ran maybe just a little bit longer than I wanted to do, but I hope the story at the beginning kind of helps you guys out. If you liked today's video, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, be certain to subscribe, because every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday I put out a new video. Tuesdays are always intervals. And next week we're going from 800-meter splits or half-mile splits to full-mile splits, 1-mile splits with 3 minutes rest in between. So we're definitely up in the game, because phase 3 will all be about endurance and strength and holding the pace. So still Tuesdays will be intervals. Thursdays will be my fartlek run, and as we know, I'm always kind of playing that one up a little bit. And then Saturdays, of course, always my long runs. And so this is a chance to really get in and really build up the distance, and the endurance in my legs. So again, subscribe to the channel if you're new to if you're new to my channel and you want to follow me with my journey. Be certain again to like the video if you like the video. As always, please leave your questions and comments below. I'll be happy to address those. And I will see you guys Thursday. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you then. Take care.